we want to thank you for keeping the train running throughout this time. We've fared quite well. You just heard from Jim about the many things we've done. We had an extremely successful legislative session. We've been working on Capitol Hill as well, and you know how that's going. That's a minute by minute thing happening right now. We've had walking events, which we're in the middle of now, Walktober, with the book club, the Asian American PI steering committee in full effect. We also have some age-friendly communities and a food drive and movies. We have a movie coming up on the 18th that everybody's welcome to join us. So we're going to be doing as part of Hispanic Heritage Month. So we're very proud of the work that you have done, and we're really here today to honor you. And as the volunteers who have made this happen, we have a lot to look forward to in 22 as well. It's an election year. So we will be having a new governor because you know that the current governor is term limited. And so we will certainly have a new governor, and all the members of the General Assembly are up for re-election. So we have a lot to look forward to as we educate our public, educate our members, and educate those candidates about the issues we care so much about. We also have a legislative session coming up where we have much more work to do about everything from paid family leave so that you can take care of people without losing your job. We have a lot going on. But we also want to just say we have fun as well. As Jim pointed out, we do movies. In the Heights, as you see in chat, is coming up on the 18th. It'll be a fun movie. We're looking forward to that as well. And now it's my pleasure to introduce our very special guest. I mentioned that we have an AAPI committee, an Asian American Pacific Islander steering committee that's been put together by one of our executive council members, Dr. Sudha Haley, and she's done a remarkable job in a very short period of time. And this is an outgrowth of some meetings we had early on with our special guest today, Daphne Kwok. Daphne is the Vice President of Multicultural Markets at AARP in the Department of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. She fully understands the impact that our volunteers have on our organization and on our community. Daphne's team focuses specifically on the incredible contributions and culture and the challenges that are facing the Asian American community. We're very excited. I'm very excited to have her join us today as we too are celebrating the tremendous work of our 2021 Andrus Award winner for community service, Sanjay Srivastava. Daphne, thank you so much for being with us. Please share a few comments if you would.
Well, thank you so much, Hank and Jim. And good afternoon to one of my favorite state offices. We've had so much great working partnership over the years and so excited to be able to help support your Asian Pacific Islander Council as well too. Very, very excited. You guys really are a model, and so hope that you can help all the other state offices form an equivalent AAPI state task force as well too. So what a glorious day to be invited to join my special friends here at AARP Maryland. I've been able to be honored to attend a number of state AARP Andrus Award ceremonies, and I know that they are tremendous opportunities to really celebrate the tremendous work of our volunteers. I know that this day means a lot to AARP National, to AARP state offices, Maryland in particular today, our AARP volunteers, and especially to our award winners. Thank you so much for that warm introduction, Hank. And I love trivia, so I loved your Maryland trivia. I think I probably ranked in the bottom. I do live in Virginia, but I'm always in Maryland. But that was a lot of fun for your trivia game. But another trivia question, I don't know if many of you know, but actually Hank and I share something in common. And did you know that he's my Chinese brother? Yes, he is. Our families come from Shanghai, China.
Yes.
And if you didn't know that, you need to ask Hank about his family's immigration history from Shanghai, China as well too. If you're to ask AARP, what is our secret weapon for our success? All 2,500 plus AARP employees will tell you the exact same answer. Volunteers. Absolutely. There is no other answer to that question. Dr. Ethel Percy Andrus founded AARP with the motto, to serve, not to be served. More than 60 years later, community service and volunteering remain at the heart of what AARP does. All of you, the 415 AARP Maryland volunteers, are the mighty engines that enable AARP to serve our revered members of our community. AARP Maryland state staff and AARP at the national level are extremely grateful for your service. We all know that AARP Maryland state staff have their plates overflowing, right, Hank? Overflowing with all the work, including you as well. And for them to have all of you taking leadership in our advocacy work, our outreach work, our communications work, means that AARP is able to fulfill our mission in Maryland, serving constituents 50 plus and their families. I've always loved my volunteer experiences, which started actually at a very young age, as my mother was director of the Greater Washington, D.C. Suzuki Violin Music Institute. It was a nonprofit. So every year she utilized her 3 young children to go round and round and round our dining room table to collate her conference registration materials. Now, this is dating us because that meant this was pre-Xerox machines that collated and stapled. It's called human labor. So why do I love volunteering? Because it feels like 2 things I love to do: cook and party. What, you might be asking? Cook and party? What does that have to do with us at AARP and volunteers? Well, let me tell you. I equate volunteering to cooking because you take your interest areas, you add your talent and expertise, and you set about producing tremendous good. I equate volunteering with partying as well too. You get together with people who share your same interests and passion, people who have wonderfully kind and generous hearts and minds. You bond over your work, your tasks. So even though the work may be hard, physically, mentally, emotionally, you are sharing the experience with others. And you get to celebrate at the end the completion of the tasks, knowing that you've improved the lives of others. Now, we also know that all of you here today are the type of people who constantly give to others. And that means you all most likely give your time, experience, leadership, expertise, and dollars, not only to AARP, but also to other organizations and causes and institutions. I bet many of you even serve multiple organizations because that's just how you're wired. I'm especially pleased to join you today as we honor AARP Maryland's 2021 Andrus Award for Community Service winner, Sanjay Srivastava. The Andrus Award is AARP's most prestigious state award for community service and is named after AARP's founder, Dr. Ethel Percy Andrus, a retired high school principal. And she started AARP after she found a fellow retired teacher living in a chicken coop because it was all she could afford on her meager pension. She was in poor health and did not have health insurance, and this was before Medicare was passed. And few insurers would cover older Americans. We all need connection now more than ever as we navigate a new normal. At AARP, we're always exploring creative ways to help older adults connect and stay connected to each other and to their communities. Sanjay understands just how important social interaction can be through his volunteer community service with the Indian Cultural Association and his greater community of Howard County as well. So congratulations to Sanjay. This award is a really, really big deal. And Sanjay, as my work for AARP focus on the Asian American Pacific Islander audience, we are now expanding our work into the South Asian community. And I would love to learn from you what and how AARP can serve the South Asian community. To all of the winners today from all of AARP, thank you for your selflessness in serving others. And I hope that your volunteer and community service brings you as much joy as it does to me as I cook and party away. Thank you so much.
Daphne, that was absolutely wonderful. Thank you so
Thank you,
much
Jim.
for joining us today. And thank you from the bottom of our hearts for being a part of our team. We cannot even begin to describe how wonderful it is to work with you and Joe and the rest of the diversity and inclusion team. You're always there for us, and we have so many adventures in our future together. So thank you so much.
Well, Joe Park and I are here to serve you, so we look forward to it. Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you again. Thank you. So in the spirit of our founder, Dr. Ethel Percy Andrus, we're commending all of our 415 volunteers today, but we're also here today to recognize the incredible accomplishments of those who volunteer outside of the organization. All of our volunteers in Maryland, of course, make the world go round. So at this time, we are going to begin our awards ceremony. And I am going to call to the virtual stage Tammy Bresnahan, our advocacy director. Tammy, take it away.
Thanks, Jen, and thank you to Daphne for a little bit of history about AARP. I think one of the things that we are most known for is our advocacy and our fighting for those who need us the most. And that is in the spirit of our founder, Ethel Percy Andrus. You heard the story about the chicken coop. You also heard that she was vital in getting the 1965 Medicare bill passed. She worked with Congress. She worked with President Johnson. She was there for the bill signing. And today, we could not be as effective as we are if it wasn't for our work with our legislative partners. Today, we honor two of them. And I'm going to first start to talk to you about Senator Melanie Griffith. Senator Griffith represents central and southern areas of Prince George's County. She dabbles in healthcare and is passionate about the arts and works for Prince George's Arts and Humanities Council when she's not in Annapolis. She currently represents District 25 in the Maryland State Senate. In 2020, Senator Griffith became the first African-American woman elected as president pro tempore for the Maryland Senate. Senator Griffith also serves as the chair of the Budget and Taxation Committee on Health and Human Services, where we have a lot of activity. She is a valued member of the Maryland Senate and senior leadership team. When I asked some of her constituents what they thought about her, Charlesetta Griffith from Chapter 939 said she is proud to have a strong working relationship with Senator Griffith and her staff. Whenever our chapter reaches out to Senator Griffith for information, assistance, or to support AARP Maryland legislative priorities in Annapolis, she unfailingly responds quickly and affirmatively. During the 2021 legislative session, Senator Griffith sponsored crucial legislation. She was very, very busy. And those legislative proposals were important to Maryland's 50 plus, and AARP Maryland was happy to support with written and in-person testimony. She was the lead sponsor on the Preserve Telehealth Bill, Public Health Implicit Bias Training, and Office of Minority Health and Health Disparities, and she co-sponsored the Maryland Health Equity Resource Act. We are proud to call her AARP's Maryland Legislator of the Year. The reason that these bills are important is that we know that many people over the age of 50, especially those over 50 and people of color, have not had access to health care. And Senator Griffith is at the forefront to make sure, like Ethel Percy Andrus, that those people have access to health care. Thank you, Senator Griffith. And we are proud to call her AARP Maryland's Legislator of the Year.
Thank you. Should I start? Am I okay? Let me just say what an extreme honor it is to be here today and to be honored by AARP. When I received the phone call, I had my team, and I have a phenomenal team in Annapolis who I get a lot of credit for the work that we all do together. And thank you, Tammy, for those kind words of introduction. and to Miss Griffin from our local chapter. I enjoy a really wonderful relationship with AARP, and I'm proud to say that I'm about to write a check today. It's time I join AARP. I've been hiding in denial for 8 years now. So, but it really isn't because of the award. It really is because when I went to your website and looked at your priorities, it's so very consistent with everything that I've been working on as a legislator and as a social worker, as a member of the community. Some of you may know that I've started a new program called Let's Talk, and we're having discussions with the community. Last time, our last discussion was about wills and estates and trust and funeral planning. And these were difficult conversations, especially in light of the times we find ourselves in, but conversations we need to have. We also have community conversations on healthy eating on a budget. And then our upcoming sessions that I'm so excited are consistent with your agenda. We have a session on caregiving and support for caregivers and using Maryland's resources to make caregiving less stressful. We're also going to do one on avoiding scams and schemes. And so that's very consistent with your consumer protections priorities. So as I looked at your agenda yesterday, I was at a joint committee on children, youth, and families meeting, and I serve on that group. And we spent the meeting yesterday talking about long-term care issues. And so because we are so closely aligned and you have identified the issues that matter most to Marylanders, and your volunteers and your team are working to promote resources and identify services and just collaborate on policy to advance these causes, including health disparities. And really thank you for the support of the telehealth bill and the others Tammy mentioned. I'm just proud to receive this award from such a phenomenal group. And I thank you so much for acknowledging me, and want to congratulate the House nominee as well. But it's just a pleasure to be with you. I'm deeply honored. So thank you so much.
Thank you to Senator Griffith. And I can't tell you that your chapter, that they're all on the call today. If you could see their like virtual claps, they are just enthralled by you. So thank you again. Our second honoree it comes to us today from the House of Delegates. And what's interesting about both of our spotlighted legislators today is that when I started in the Annapolis during the 1999 session, it wasn't until around 2002 that both Senator Griffith and Delegate McIntosh were both on House appropriations together. They have both been champions of our budget, and for that we are very happy. The chair, Delegate Maggie McIntosh, is the chair of the Appropriations Committee of the Maryland House of Delegates. She has been a member of the House since November 1992. She is a former Baltimore City public school teacher, and imagine that, just like our founder, Ethel Percy Andrus. She represents the state's 43rd district in Baltimore City. Delegate McIntosh is the first woman to chair the powerful Appropriations Committee in Maryland's House of Delegates. And she is the first woman to serve as the chair of the Environmental Matters Committee, which is no longer has been joined with another committee, but she was still the first woman. She has championed several major legislative initiatives to passage, including the Chesapeake Bay Restoration Act. And you know how important the Chesapeake Bay is to Maryland. Last year, when we were looking at how the pandemic was affecting older Marylanders, we met with our state president, Jim Campbell, who is a former delegate who served with Chair McIntosh and is still her constituent. He said he would ask his delegate and his former colleague how we could move this issue along. And she and others decided that the budget language requiring the Department of Health and the Department of Aging to do a report. She championed a budget language that forced the Department of Health and the Department of Aging to do a report on the cognitive and behavioral health of older Marylanders. We are still waiting for that report. It was due October 1. And I know Michael Friedman, who is one of our volunteers who worked on that issue, we are waiting every day for the report that the departments must turn over. So we will be following up with them very shortly. We know that the COVID-19 pandemic played havoc on older Marylanders. We lost our most vulnerable and we lost life as we know it. Older Marylanders suffered from isolation, and for years, the state has ignored the behavioral health of its older citizens. The budget language is a roadmap for the future, and for that, we thank Delegate McIntosh. We are proud to call her AARP Maryland's Legislator of the Year as well. Thank you, Delegate McIntosh.
Thank you, Tammy. I'm not sure we have the delegate on the line, but if she does join us, we'll be sure to squeeze her in and allow her to make some remarks. Thank you so much. Wonderful. Congrats to both the senator and the delegate for this award. At this time, I am going to call Nancy Carr to the stage to present our Communications Award.
Thank you, Jen. It's my great pleasure to present this year's Communications Award to Karen Kalla. Karen is liaison between our advocacy volunteers and elected representatives and ensuring open lines of communication so that our representatives know where our volunteers stand on important issues. She stays on top of legislation and the issues that are important to Maryland's 50+ community. Even while she was caregiving for her father, she never stopped working on behalf of Maryland's 50+ and supporting our volunteer advocates. Since 2019, she has spearheaded our advocacy events, tracked legislation, initiated meetings with lawmakers, and made sure that the volunteers also understood the issues and AARP's position. Her leadership, organizing, and promoting our advocacy Zoom meetings has permitted our volunteers to remain engaged and forge stronger relationships with each other and our representatives in Annapolis, even during a pandemic of historic proportions. For all you do, Karen, we are truly grateful. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy, and all of the AARP staff and volunteers for this very special honor and opportunity to work alongside of you and our shared efforts to improve the lives of our 50+ communities and their families. This award really belongs to all of you. It takes a village. Advocating on behalf of our 50+ communities across the state is a daily venture against very powerful forces who put profit before people. I've been fortunate to learn from the very best. Tammy is a rare person in both her deep knowledge and understanding of politics and her genuine dedication to the health and well-being of all Maryland residents. We're very fortunate to have her, Hank, and Jim Campbell at the forefront of AARP Maryland's important mission. Their leadership, coupled with the expertise, experience, and hard work of all of you and countless other volunteers and staff, makes our collective efforts exciting and our effectiveness even greater than those who put their own personal gains first. Your voices tell the stories of real people and communicate what government must do to make each one of those stories the best it can be. As a volunteer legislative aide and member of the Executive Council, I'm committed to doing whatever I can to keep us connected with each other, to keep us connected with our elected officials, and to share the important information us all make our AARP legislative priorities realities. So together we are making a positive difference for all of our fellow Marylanders. And I know we're going to make 2022 the best year ever. So thank you all so much.
So much, Karen. And thank you, Nancy. Nancy is our Associate State Director for Communications. So if anyone understands the importance of effective communication, it's her. And Karen certainly embodies how to get the job done. So thank you, Karen, for all of your hard work. And I love the placement of your award right behind you. That's the perfect spot for it. Very nice. Next, we're going to move on to the Outreach Award. And I have the distinct pleasure of presenting this award to Karen Morgan. I first met Karen years ago. She was a friend of Hank's and had announced her impending retirement from the Maryland Department of Legislative Services. And he convinced her that her what's next was to become an AARP Maryland volunteer. So years ago, Karen humored me as I conducted a small AARP Fraud Watch Network training. She seemed interested in the issue and we patiently waited for her to dive in. Karen dipped her toe in by serving on our volunteer-driven Speakers Bureau, also run by another amazing volunteer, Phyllis Meyerson. And from there, I really started working closely during COVID with her and another awesome volunteer, Ted Meyerson. They became my dynamic scam fighting duo. And as part of her learning, Karen agreed to start filling in for me at Fraud Watch meetings and joining statewide coalitions like Project Safe, which includes partners like the Attorney General and the Comptroller's Office, Adult Protective Services, and the Department of Aging. So this is where she decided to take a deep dive. Karen is a talker, a thinker, and an analyzer. She spent the first part of her volunteer journey with us simply learning and absorbing. I always feel like I can physically see through her skull to witness the wheels turning. All of her learning really came to a head as we embarked on our Protect Week this year. Protect Week is a statewide campaign to blitz the entire state with fraud prevention and elder abuse awareness messaging. That's a mouthful. Karen agreed to take on a series of social media interviews that resulted in more than 2,000 people reached. Those interviews also helped build momentum for the myriad of Protect Week events that were taking place that week, including media outreach, teletown halls, social media posts, and a variety of online events. From what we can tell, the campaign itself reached hundreds of thousands of people, probably more. What Karen may not realize is that her team spirit and willingness to take on additional responsibility freed up our team members to focus on other big projects and increase this outreach. Nancy initiated a huge WBAL TV sponsorship. I planned a few teletown halls. Other team members were working on social media and the massive order of promotional items, including t-shirts and literature. Without Karen handling her specific piece of that fraud fighting pie, we never would have reached as many people as we did. Karen continues to keep her finger on the issue through her membership with the International Association of Financial Crimes Investigators, and is also willing to step in and help anytime. Hank found us a gem all those years ago, and we are so honored to award her with the AARP Maryland Andrus Award for Outreach. Congratulations, Karen.
Thank you so much, Jen. Those words are, it's amazing to hear them actually apply to me. I am really touched and just thrilled to be working with such an amazing group of people. Hank, Joy, Adrian, Eleanor, Nancy, Jen. I mean, everyone's been so supportive, and I feel like I'm constantly being thanked, and I feel like I'm the one that needs to thank all of you. Becoming part of AARP, especially during the pandemic, I've said this on more than one occasion, you saved me. It just has been hugely important in my life to be able to do something when in the environment says there's not really a whole lot you can do. Well, actually, that's not true. There are things that can be done. There are ways to help. And when you help others, maybe you can help yourself too. I've learned so much working with Jen and Joy and Hank, especially about AARP and just the huge lift it takes to get any project forward. It's amazing how much thought, how much analysis and just sort of coordination has to go into getting anything done, and yet it gets done every year, all the time. And and the people in AARP Maryland are all about getting the work done. And I'm reminded of what Indira Gandhi said. She said something along the lines of, there are two groups of people in the world. One group that takes the credit and one group that does the work. Try hard to be in the second group because there's a lot less competition there. Well, AARP Maryland has always been about being in the group that does the work. People are just amazing, and I treasure all of you. I treasure these experiences. I never expected to be to get this award. What I really look forward to is doing more and helping more. It's so that AARP AARP Maryland can keep moving forward and doing everything that that we're trying to do. I think it's amazing. I think all of you all are amazing. So thank you so much for this award. Thank you so much for all the support that we as volunteers receive, because as a volunteer, I don't feel like I could do what I do without all of you. So thank you. And I'm extremely honored.
We are so glad to have you as a part of our team, and congratulations to you. Thank you so much. So next, we will be moving on to our Gary Share Advocacy Award, and I will be pulling Tammy Bresnahan, our Advocacy Director, back to the stage.
Thank you, Jim. The next award, the Gary Share, I'm sorry, I just have a little bit of the Gary Share Advocacy Award. I just want to talk to you a minute about the person that this award is going to. I'm sorry. Our annual Andrus Award Luncheon, named for our founder, Ethel Percy Andrus, honors those who volunteer for AARP Maryland. Our founder, Ethel Percy Andrus, was described as having the urge to serve. When selecting the Volunteer Advocate of the Year, AARP Maryland looks to someone like Ethel Percy Andrus, who had the urge to serve. That person that works for change, that person who is committed to making things better for everyone. And when the person volunteers, they don't think what they are doing is unusual or praiseworthy. It's just part of the definition of who they are. The person we are honoring as our Gary Share Advocacy Award on a moment's notice has become a tireless advocate for those who can't advocate for themselves. Laurel works on our utility issues, and I can tell you, she's like a dog with a bone. Why are we honoring Laurel besides the obvious? Because she deserves it. Honoring Laurel creates an example for the rest of us to follow. She emphasizes that community service is important, and through our choice of whom to honor makes it clear what community service means. Honoring this advocate provides an occasion to highlight her dedication to the issues that she works on. Honoring Laurel demonstrates that even one person can be an effective agent for change and encourages action while helping others. Our Andrus Award Recognition Luncheon provides the perfect vehicle for showcasing her hard work and the dedication of our advocacy volunteer. Our Gary Share Advocacy Volunteer for 2021, Laurel Peltier, embodies every character and selflessness. The work she does and the issues that she has tackled is an inspiration. She works on the issues that we call retail energy suppliers, or sometimes we shorten it for third-party suppliers. Laurel, as a volunteer for AARP Maryland, and she's also the chair of Energy Advocates, has advocated on behalf of AARP Maryland during the General Assembly. She has reached out to lawmakers. As a matter of fact, this morning we had a meeting with the Attorney General's office and the People's Council, and she made that appointment. She makes all the appointments. She has steadfastly worked to protect vulnerable populations who are fleeced every day by the retail energy suppliers. And it's happening. We finally, after 3 years, were able to get a bill through. And I can tell you it was because of her selflessness, because of her integrity, and because of her persistence that that bill passed. And it wasn't easy. She is willing to transfer her skills. She developed a webinar. She developed a toolkit for not only us, but for other states, to teach people how to read their bills, teach people to know when they are on a third-party supplier and what the differences are. AARP Maryland can count on Laurel to develop relationships with legislators and other partners to help move our legislative agenda forward. AARP Maryland is proud to have Laurel Peltier as an advocate and for being AARP Maryland's Gary Share Advocate Volunteer for 2021. Congratulations, Laurel. You are truly appreciated.
Thank you so much, Tammy. Dog on a bone. If my husband, my whole family saw that, they would be laughing on the floor, because can you imagine? That's what they call me. I have to tell you, thank you for this award. When I started researching this I wanted to fix it. And I learned that's very hard to fix something. And the only way to fix things usually is to change the laws. And the only way to do that is to get down to Annapolis. And the only way to do that is to really have a partner that can take a volunteer who doesn't know anything about politics and work with them, coach them, sit by their side, everybody. So it's amazing. Without AARP's voice and really expertise, I don't think we would be where we are, which is like this morning, basically as a team with Hank and Tammy making a case for something that is a huge, huge lift. So thank you. I've learned a ton. It's been a lot of fun. I have two people to thank, three really. Martha Yalov. She was a previous Andrus Award winner. Martha introduced me to Tammy. Poor Tammy had to listen to me talk about utilities, and she hung in there. Everybody else has. It is dull but important. So thank you, Martha. Secondly, this is going to sound crazy. I got to thank my husband, because being a volunteer is my choice. I'm going to be honest, there's a lot of other things I could do, but that's kind of what makes this authentic, is not being paid by anybody. And thirdly, Gary Scher, I've read about him. He passed earlier than he should. He was a massive fighter. So as we create an army, all of us, to go and change a pretty tough law, he's going to be on the team. So I can't thank you enough. It's just great working with you all.
Thank you so much, Laurel, and congratulations to you. Your level of knowledge about this issue is so impressive, and I know that Tammy and the rest of the advocacy team feel so fortunate to have you by their side. So thank you for all you do. Okay, moving right along, we are going to move forward with presenting the chapter award, and I'm going to call Catherine Williamson to the stage to present that award.
Good afternoon, everyone. As president of the AARP 939 chapter, I am honored to present the Andrus Chapter Award to our chapter member, Charcetta Griffin. Charcetta's exceptional commitment and dedication to our chapter inspired me to nominate her for this award. Since 2012, Ms. Griffin has served tirelessly as the chapter's legislative committee chairperson. She also serves on the AARP Maryland State Advocacy Team and is a member of the chapter's executive board. One of Charcetta's greatest assets is that when she sees a need in our chapter that she can feel without hesitation, she jumps in to address that need. For example, in 2018, our members expressed concerns there were too many candidates running for Prince George's County Executive and too little information about those candidates. Charcetta led a committee that planned a successful meet and greet event where our members and guests could personally speak to the 10 2018 candidates for the county executive. This meet and greet exceeded all expectations. As a bonus, the current Prince George's County Executive, the Honorable Angela Also Brooks, one of the candidates who participated in our meet and greet, readily accepts invitations to speak at our chapter meetings and is responsive to all requests from our chapter. When our members voiced concerns about mail-in ballot procedures for the 2020 general election in Prince George's County, she developed documents summarizing the major differences between the primary and general election procedures to ensure that our members would cast valid ballots in the general election. Also, prior to the general election, she recommended a top Prince George's County Board of Elections official was invited to our virtual chapter meeting to respond to our members' questions. When the chapter began meeting virtually last year, she volunteered to lead teams to develop virtual presentations for our annual observance of Christmas Black History Month, Women History Month, as well as our annual picnic. The virtual events were always educational and entertaining, including trivia quizzes, name that tune, scavenger hunts, dancing, and singing. Although there is so much more I want to share, I will end by congratulating Charcetta on this much and well-deserved award. I will yield to Charcetta.
Thank you, Catherine. And thank you, AARP Maryland, for this prestigious award. I'm very proud to represent AARP Chapter 939 with over 200 members from across Prince George's County. I share this award with the chapter's dynamic leaders and dedicated volunteers working to address the needs of Prince George's County seniors. I look forward to continuing my efforts on their behalf. In closing, thanks again, AARP Maryland, for this prestigious chapter award and for all you do for Maryland seniors. I want to quickly add that my twins, Daryl Griffin and D'Angela Griffin Glenn, are with us today. I hope they're still there. And I want to thank them for their patience with me. Every day they ask me, why are you working harder than we are? We thought you were retired. I'm sure most of you or all of you have heard that before. Thanks, everyone.
Congratulations, Charcetta. What a wonderful accomplishment. I know, and our team understands how difficult this year has been for all of the chapters across the state. So we commend you for working so hard to keep everyone engaged and keep your chapter as active as it's ever been. So great job. Thank you. Okay, moving on. We are going to call our state president, Mr. Jim Campbell, back to the virtual stage to present the State President's Award.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's been a wonderful program so far. It's very impressive, all the people who are working for us. Really thank you for all you do. It's really wonderful. And for those of us who watch the news every night, we get very depressed. We forgot there are a lot of good things going on in the world. So, and I think these next two awards will even prove that even more. Every year we send out notices about the Andrus Award and ask for nominations. And every year we get wonderful responses from people doing so much in their communities. And it's really hard to narrow it down. So last year I created what I thought is an award to recognize outstanding works sort of outside the parameters of the AARP framework, but the people who are doing outstanding work in their community. And that person I'm recommending tonight is this afternoon, is Curtis Gunny Jones. Oh, there he is. Okay, and when you see his live, he's here too at the meeting. You'll see he's trying to outdress the rest of it. He has a suit on. He looks really good. Just trying to show the rest of it's up. But Curtis Jones is a hardworking, committed U.S. Marine Corps retiree who has dedicated himself to ensuring that veterans and their families enjoy the full array of Veteran Administration benefits that they have earned through their service. He's a disabled veteran. He knows from experience how to submit claims correctly and what supporting document is needed. And as a former state delegate, I know people have a hard time negotiating systems. And our veterans of all people should not have a hard time negotiating systems for what they deserve, the rights, benefits they deserve. And Gunny is on the front line helping people negotiate the system. He shouldn't have to do that because the system should work for our veterans, but he's there doing it every day. When we talked to him the other day, Tuesday, to just tell him about the meeting today, Gunny said he had just met with a World War II widow who didn't know she was eligible, who was poor, who was suffering, but didn't know she was eligible for widow's benefits. And he helped her through that process. This is a great guy working really hard. He knows that most veterans that need help are seniors. Some widows of veterans needing repair of their homes or after damage caused by plumbing problems, or add ramps for wheelchairs. And he's there to help them negotiate the system. If you saw 60 Minutes Sunday night, you saw a group of veterans who are having a hard time negotiating the system. And some of these were lawyers. So they really need skill and expertise and knowledge, and Gunny has that. He has worked on many issues facing veterans. One that we actually worked on, AARP, also veteran suicide, which is very high, very concerning, something we all want to work on. He also is talking about the homeless problem in Annapolis and Anne Arundel County of veterans. And he's working to try to raise money to find shelters for homeless. You know, some of us don't see that, but he points out that they're there. We don't see it, but they're there, and something has to be done. So Gunny is totally committed to veterans. Comments from John Church, of the chairman of Veterans Affairs of Anne Arundel County, said, if he learns that a veteran needs help, you can assure Gunny will help. And the other person who recommended Gunny was somebody you may know, was Tiger Davis. Tiger is very aware of Gunny's work, strongly recommended Gunny. You know, Tiger is a former president. He got me into this job, so he knows what Gunny has done and what can do. Gunny is an active member of the Veterans of Foreign Affairs. He's the Fleet Reserve Association, Disabled American Veterans, and the American Legion Cook Pitney Post 141, where he served as. It's just an honor to recognize him for his service to his community. Gunny, thank you for all you do. And you want to make a few comments? I think he's, there he is, yes.
Yeah, first of all, thank you for the award. And I just do what I do because someone helped me along the way. And my wife, who's kind of in the side over here.
Hey.
Yeah, she tells me that I tell her when I don't have a job. She said, yes, you do. You get up every day and you go out the door and you don't come back in until late in the evening. But I said, well, you only have a job if you get paid. I don't get paid. So I still say I don't have a job, but I do what I do, again, because someone helped me. And that's what I'm going to do until they close my eyes or try to keep me down. But I'm going to keep on doing that. And that's what I believe in. And I'm in it to win it. That's all I got to say. And thank you again.
See what I mean about, doesn't he look good? He's just trying to show us up. With that
well, I couldn't help it, you know. I have to show you my Marine Corps pen too, see.
Okay. Thank you for all you do. Benny, we're going to call on you. We want you to help us work on veterans issues. So thank you for all you do for us. Appreciate it.
Quite welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Thank you for your service, and thank you for your continued service to the community. When we were doing our practice run, Mr. Jones was running a little bit behind because he was actually out in the field helping someone access benefits who otherwise didn't know that they qualified. So he seems to be on the clock 24/7, and we're just so grateful for him. And we're so grateful.
Yeah, she's not new yet, yes.
Congratulations. Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
So at this time, we have made our way through the program to the 2021 Andrus Award for Community Service. And we are going to go ahead and show a video from Howard County Executive Calvin Ball, as our Community Service Award winner is from Howard County, and we have a special honor for him right here.
Howard County is grateful to have community members who look out for one another, especially in times of need. The Indian Cultural Association of Howard County is bettering lives and focusing on empowering the most vulnerable in our community. Since their establishment, ICA was able to distribute nearly 2 million pounds of food to families in need. All the while, they have become a prominent cultural organization in our region. Earlier this year, they were awarded with the AARP Community Challenge Grant to help bolster their work, and today, I offer my sincerest congratulations to them on winning the AARP Andrus Award for Community Service. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Ball. And at this time, I am calling Jim back to the virtual stage to present this award to
Thank
Mr.
you. It's another honor to do this. And just another example of outstanding service in the community. Sanjay is president of the Indian Cultural Association, an organization dedicated to celebrating Indian culture and bringing the diverse communities of Howard County together. ICA is engaged in public service directed towards the most vulnerable in the community, including seniors and youth. They have health fairs, mental health events, senior socials, total commitment to the community. He has helped distribute more than 2 million pounds of food to needy families since the beginning of COVID in 2019, more than any other organization in the county. Not from a warehouse, not from machinery, but with bare hands, hard work, and rain, sleet, snow, and scorching heat. His volunteers are committed to making a difference. Sanjay has been there every single time they have an event. He's involved, he's committed. We've had several of our own volunteers go to and participate in some of his food drives, and they're very impressed by the turnout and the quality of distribution of food goes to people. So it's really an impressive operation. And I just wanted to read some of the letters we got from people in the county who benefited from his program. Somebody named Lillian said, "There's no words that can express how grateful and blessed I am to receive your help and support to deliver boxes of food to people that don't have transportation. I couldn't have done it without you. Thank you, Mr. Sanjay." And Derek writes, "God bless you guys. I've been unemployed since last December. I can't find a job. The food you all pass out has been a godsend and a lifesaver. Thank you so much." I don't know what else to say. It's a great, these are great examples of people working for the community, no rewards, and just very committed to helping people make their lives better. So don't believe what you see on the news every night. There's a lot of good things going on out there. I don't think Sanjay's on the phone, but on the call, but we will recognize him, and we're donating $1,000 to the Indian Cultural Center. So Sanjay, thank you very much, and we look forward to working with you in the future.
Yes, unfortunately, Sanjay was not able to join us today for personal reasons, but I do believe we have a wonderful video in his stead.
My name is Sanjay Srivastava, the Indian Cultural Association. Essentially, it's an arts and cultural organization. It was organized to serve our people, to celebrate Indian culture, and to bring it to Howard County. One of the core tenets of Indian culture is seva. Seva means service, serving others, those in need. And with that core belief, we've moved forward. And so we've worked toward racial equity. We've worked to serve the most vulnerable, whether it be seniors tackling social isolation or the needs of kids, and most recently, hunger in our community. As COVID unfolded, there were increasing requests for help. I firmly believe that if we're able to help, we should, each and every one of us. We began distributing at a low scale in the beginning. And over the course of the last 18 months, we've distributed over 2 million pounds of food. When I say we, it's the hundreds of volunteers who've come together to help their neighbors and friends. COVID and the struggle has affected everyone. If we look at what's going on, 22% of our kids are enrolled in the farm program, which is a free and reduced meal program. 25% of our people have trouble putting food on our table. 9% are below the federal poverty line. And 29% on top of that struggle to make ends meet, meaning they're making choices between food and medicine, rent and mortgage or electricity. And the work that our group has done has been really impactful, helping people from all backgrounds. I see a lot of seniors in our lines. I see a lot of veterans. I see families, young families from all ethnicities. And I think that as a group, we have become the leading organization engaged in alleviating hunger. I'm really honored that you chose the Indian Cultural Association, because this is really a tribute to our community. Hundreds of people that came together to help their neighbors. And that's what the Indian Cultural Association is about. And that's what we've been doing. And they've come out in the rain and the shine and the cold and the freezing weather and 100-degree temperature, 105-degree temperature. Just I remember. It's been tough. It's been exhausting, but I'm really proud of the friends that we've made and in this effort. I think life is more meaningful when we help others. And I think that individually, one by one, the simple acts of kindness, the giving of yourself can really change the world and actually really impact the community.
So inspiring, and we are so honored to be here, well, to be virtually here and to honor Mr. Srivastava on all of his accomplishments. So we hope to continue working with him in the very near future. So as we start to conclude our program, I'd again like to invite Hank and or Jim to the stage to offer us some closing remarks. And thank you all for being here with us today.
I'm going to let Hank do the real closing, but I just want to thank everyone for participating today. It's great. If you're interested in knowing more about AARP, go to our website or our Facebook page, and we'd love to have you involved in more activities if you're interested. But I did want to thank my executive council. These are people who support a lot of our activities. We have a great group, very active. I want to mention Dr. Gigi Ballard-Blakes. I think she's still on the call. Dr. Suda Haley, I think she's there. Karen Calla, David Waltman Conway, Marcy Gouge, Mary Angela Baker, Jim Gutman. Thank you, team. Look forward to seeing you soon. Appreciate it.
And I'm going to take it from there and just to say, first of all, thank you to my partner, Jim Campbell. We together as a team with both our staff and our executive council try to sort of come up with a vision for the year. And we're in the process of doing that now for next year. And we're working together to make sure we have some sort of impact in our communities. And we don't do it without our volunteers. It's just not possible. And so today is a remarkably important day to us. And it's our opportunity to say thank you to the many volunteers that have chosen to take your time and spend it with us at AARP. I'm looking forward to those days, as I said earlier, when we can do it in person. But for now, the virtual is doing great.